Hello, welcome to this week's episode of Geek-Minded Fools. My name's Graham.
And I'm Scott.
Well, after our look back over 2016, we're back to our usual format, mate.
Fortunately.
I think it was hard going through 2016, not just talking about it, but going through it in general.
Yes, indeed.
So I'm glad to be in January now of a new year.
Yes, definitely. I mean, it's nice to be back. It's a bit weird to be back. We've been away. It's been a while.
It has been, indeed. What have you been up to? What have you been doing for 2016? What did you do for a year when you weren't informing people about geek-minded things?
Do you know what I did? Honestly, I caught up on so much stuff. I'm obviously the one that does the editing of the podcast.
Yeah.
And that takes up such a lot of time.
I'm just the talent.
Indeed, of course you are. Of course,
yeah.
You know, the looks and the talent.
Yeah.
I caught up on a load of films, which was really good, like old films that I've been wanting to watch for ages and ages and ages. I had this long list and finally had the time to actually start going through them, which was really good. Really good old stuff, sort of Battleship Potemkin and Eyes Without a Face and that sort of stuff. Sort of really,
Eyes Without a Face.
Yeah, thanks, Billy.
You're welcome. Did he die?
Sadly not.
Probably will now.
That's horrible.
Probably
horrible.
will now.
I'm sorry, Billy. I've just killed you.
Yeah, indeed.
So yeah, did that, and also I watched a lot of films that we spoke about anyway. There's a few I watched, for the sole purpose of being able to talk about them. But obviously, being the dad to a couple of young kids, sort of 7 and 5, you find that your time spent watching a lot of kiddies films as well.
Nothing wrong with that, my friend.
And the thing is, we've always loved Disney films. Everybody loves those. But I'm amazed at the quality there is out there. I mean, last year there were some very, very good kids' films. I mean, Zootropolis. I don't know whether you got to see that, but that was.
I know the film,
fantastic.
but I didn't see it. No.
I mean, Jennifer Goodwin and Jason Bateman absolutely nailed it in that. There was another Ice Age film, which quality-wise wasn't that great, but it had Buck-Bat in it, played by Simon Pegg. And
is Buck another? Is he another sloth?
No, he's a weasel.
Yeah.
He's a one-eyed weasel with an eye patch, and he's such a great character.
I've got a one-eyed weasel with an eye patch. Well, I call it an eye patch. It's more underwear than anything.
Yes, and yeah, he's I honestly think Buck is probably one of my favourite Simon Pegg roles. I think he's absolutely superb in it.
Was he a little bit more present than he was in The Force Awakens?
Yes, indeed. But yeah, and sort of things like Secret Life of Pets. There were some really good kids' films last year, so I probably spent as much time watching those as I did all our usual geeky stuff. What about yourself? What did you get up to?
It was a whirlwind year of pretty much nothing. To be honest, I did.
You turned 40.
I did. Yeah. All right. Yeah. Thanks. Thanks. The other day I listened back to one of our older episodes. In fact, episode 1. And it shocked me when I said, I'm a 38-year-old guy who still thinks he's a college student who's never been to college. And I kind of thought, my God, what have you done for the last 2 years? And I realised, Graham, it's absolutely fuck all. I've done nothing for 2 years apart from,
build a lot of Lego.
I will get to that later, my friend. That's because I'm saving the good stuff for the last.
Sorry, mate.
No, in all honesty, I've been playing a lot of guitar. I've been playing a hell of a lot of guitar. As you know, I do play guitar. I've been playing for about nearly 30 years now. Must be 30 years, in fact, because I'm 40. And I've all of a sudden discovered that... Yeah, I'm 40, yeah. 40 and single, and dashing, good-looking, one-eyed weasel, all my own work. No, I kind of realised now I've got to the point of being 40 and being sober, as you well know.
Yeah.
My brain's started to kick in and work a little bit more, so I've started to realise that I can learn things on the guitar again the way I did when I wasn't a complete and utter alcoholic.
Yes.
Which is nice. That's been a big thing for me.
Absolutely.
And also, as you pointed out, I'll make no bones about it. 2016 was a bit of a depressing year for me, to be honest. It wasn't great. I wasn't overly happy.
You had some lows, didn't you? Yeah.
I've had some lows, and I've genuinely not been well. I mean, as I sit and speak to you now, I've been very ill for the past week as well. I've lost a lot of weight, and I've had to find something to kind of boost myself a little bit, and I did that in the form of Lego, which I must say, I'd forgotten how just wonderful Lego was.
I needed something that was going to get my mind working again, but relax me at the same time. And Lego seems to have done the trick.
Perfect.
I was very lucky to kind of win a couple of the incentive schemes at work. So I had some Amazon vouchers, and I ended up getting the Ecto One, of course, which is just wonderful. And now the Lego seems to be slightly taking over the living room. So I think I better just kind of back the fuck off on the Lego for a bit. Yeah, the Lego is getting a bit much now. But yeah, that was a cool thing. But I'll tell you what the main thing is, mate. It's just nice to be back doing this.
Isn't it just?
Isn't it, eh?
Yes.
And I hope.
Maybe not for the listeners, but definitely for us.
Maybe not for the listener. Hello, John. I do hope that people enjoy what we're going to bring to them in 2017.
I hope so.
With that in mind, do you think we should maybe possibly delve into the monkey farm?
Well, the newly built monkey farm, it would seem.
It is a newly built monkey farm, indeed. It's got all the mod cons. It has disabled access. It has running water. It has everything that a good monkey farm should have.
Absolutely. So, yeah, well, strap yourselves in, everyone. Good to be back, and now we'll go and visit Scott in his monkey farm.
Hey, partners, it's time to see what Scott's doing down on his monkey farm.
Welcome, sir.
Thank you.
Welcome back to the newly built monkey farm.
Good to be back. It's nice.
Explained. It's nice. What do you think?
Very nice,
I think I've done a good job. I think it looks all right. I mean,
the colour schemes have changed, but you know.
Yeah, I cleared out all the dead bodies. They've all gone. I mean, they were stinking up the place.
Absolutely.
As this is a new year and a new monkey farm, I think
previously I've been a bit cruel to you. And I did say at the end of tail end of last year to bring the love. So let's bring the love, and why don't you give us some news this week?
Oh, okay. Blimey. Oh.
I know, eh?
Right. What to say?
No, I've shocked you.
Certainly, the first big thing that's happened to me was obviously the announcement of the Gotham City Sirens movie.
Okay. Do tell.
Which, well, obviously, after the success of Suicide Squad, and as we talked about in the 2016 review, the standout performance of Harley Quinn, DC have announced that David Ayer, the director of Suicide Squad, will be coming back for a new film with said Harley Quinn, played by Margot Robbie again, which will focus on the female villain characters of the DC universe. So it will be...
So we're talking Catwoman, Poison Ivy...
And well, those two. So it is Harley Quinn, Catwoman as yet uncast, and Poison Ivy as yet uncast. So...
Excuse me while I just rubbed my knees.
Furiously! In a Vic Reeves fashion, yes, indeed.
I'm all over that.
So, yeah, one thing you'd have to say, you'd still have to admit that in terms of movies, Marvel are very much streets ahead. But DC do seem to be embracing the female movie far more. Obviously, we've got Wonder Woman coming up this year. And now this film being announced. And Marvel have been criticised. I mean, the only female movie currently on their roster is Captain Marvel. But certainly none of the existing female characters, and people have been particularly saying they would like to see a Black Widow movie.
A standalone. Yeah, yes. That would be good. I mean, I could quite happily watch ScarJo running around for a couple of hours.
Absolutely. But DC certainly seem to be the ones who are moving ahead in the female hero/villain stakes, which I think is good. You know, we don't want superheroes to be a boys' club. You know?
No, definitely not. What was that absolutely terrible DC property called? Mainly female villains. Canaries?
Birds of Prey?
Birds of Prey, yes, that's it.
Birds of Prey, of course it was, yes. Well, based on a comic of the same name.
Was it any good? Because it didn't last, did it?
The TV show, no. The comic, very much so. I mean, the comic ran for years and years and years and was very good. It was Oracle, which was Barbara Gordon, obviously having been paralysed in The Killing Joke, so she was Oracle in the in the wheelchair, who effectively worked with all the heroes and would sort of be their ears and eyes on the net and through various surveillance means. And it was Huntress, and I know Poison Ivy came in at one stage, which was a bit of a shocker.
Where in God's name have I got Canary from?
Black Canary was the other character.
World's shittest superhero name. Yeah.
Well, I don't know. But of course, Black Canary is currently in the Arrow TV show. Well, she was in the Arrow TV show, but then she got made Deed. So,
Deed. Massively Deed. I can't watch.
Deeded.
I can't watch Arrow. I just can't watch it because he's far too good looking. He is far too good looking. He actually offends my eyes that he's too good looking.
Another man crush.
Another man crush. Right, give me some more news. Come on, show your work.
Okay. Other news. What have I got? You ever a fan of the Crystal Maze? Back in the 80s?
I'm a big fan of crystal meth, so you know, still got all my teeth. So you know, it doesn't seem to have had that adverse effect on me. But yeah, I do love the Crystal Maze.
The Crystal Maze, obviously with Richard O'Brien, very popular in the 80s on Channel 4. They did a reboot of it with celebrities for Stand Up to Cancer, hosted by Steve Merchant, who of course shaved his head famously for that one. But it has been recommissioned by Channel 4. It is coming back for 20 more episodes, which will air in the summer. And guess who they've got to host it?
I hope not Ed Tudor-Pole.
No, it's not. Richard Ayoade.
No way.
Yep.
That's absolutely brilliant. What a genius pick.
It's great, isn't it?
That is really cool.
Yeah.
Well, I tell you what, you might have just earned yourself a couple more spots in the monkey farm. I mean, never let it be said that I don't share, and I'm not a complete lazy git and didn't prepare any news. Oh no, I've let my secret out.
God damn it.
Have you got any more news for me? Any more news? You look like you've got some more news.
Yes, I have, Scott, funnily enough. I've got one more bit, and that is the fact that the Twin Peaks series has been now given a May release for this year.
Yeah.
But they've also announced a lot more of the cast. And obviously there was a lot of the original cast were coming back, but they've announced more of the new characters and the people who are playing them. And they've got some big names. They are pulling in some big names.
Give me some examples of these big names.
Monica Bellucci's going to be in it.
Very nice too.
Michael Cera.
Okay, yeah. I was having a discussion with Michael Cera very recently about someone who said they just cannot watch any film that he's in because he's got shit hair. I feel that's a little bit unfair. But,
tad harsh.
You know,
Ashley Judd.
Okay.
Jennifer Jason Leigh. Tim Roth. Amanda Seyfried. Naomi Watts. Josh McDermott, who obviously plays Eugene in The Walking Dead.
Yeah.
Ethan Suplee from the Kevin Smith films.
Sailboat.
Jim Belushi. And a bit of a strange one, but for anybody who was a fan of grunge music in the 90s, or garage rock, as I know you like to call it.
Yes.
Trent Reznor and Eddie Vedder are both going to be in it.
What?
Yeah. Trent Reznor
How did I not
and Eddie
know this?
Vedder are both going to be
That's
in Twin
awesome.
Peaks.
I can't imagine what Eddie Vedder is going to do in Twin Peaks. I really can't, unless he's just going to wander around warbling excellently at people.
Obviously, for those that don't know, Trent Reznor, the singer and creative force behind 9 Inch Nails, and Eddie Vedder, Pearl Jam. So, yeah, that should be interesting. Whether they're going to be in there as musicians of some sort or as offbeat characters, we shall wait and see.
I tell you what, you've blown my mind. You've blown my little monkey farm news mind.
Well, there you go. Job done.
You, sir, have definitely earned another spot.
Yeah.
I am going to add another little thing there. A little bit of self-aggrandising news, maybe.
Go on, sir.
I don't know if you're aware, but we now have a YouTube channel.
We do. Yes.
Now that is news, okay?
Basically, anyone who's ever listened to us in the past, please do feel free to go back and listen to us again via our YouTube channel, which is very easy to find. It's just Geek-Minded Fools on YouTube.
Yeah.
Everything you hear from here on in, hopefully she'll make its way onto there, and keep your eyes peeled on there because I think it's going to get a little bit freaky on there over the next year.
Yes. Not only will it be audio going up there, but we may just be doing a couple of video shows as well.
Well done, sir. I'll give you a little mini golf clap for that, because that was a most excellent monkey farm. How nice am I being?
I know.
I know.
This is a whole new Scott. I'm actually a bit freaked out.
Yeah, as well you should be, sir. Mask is slipping.
It is.
Right, as well as you've done, get out.
I'm going. Thanks very much, sir.
You're welcome.
And now we shall move on to this week's Quick Hits.
Quick Hits.
Right, sir. So, quick hits. I have no idea who went last and who went first, and so I'm just rushing.
I don't think it matters. It matters not.
I'm rushing in. I'm rushing in where fools fear to tread.
Tread, indeed. No. Fools rush in where angels fear to tread.
Oh, they can all just fuck themselves. Anyway, my quick hit, January 2017, my first quick hit of the year. I told you very briefly earlier that I've been playing a fair old bit of guitar lately.
You have, and very well, I might say. I have experienced some of it, and it's good stuff.
Thank you very much. I'm starting to get my balls back, as it were. We're playing the guitar. I don't know if you know of a little band called Primus.
Only, I have to say, through South Park.
Yeah, and that's as good as any reason to know them. During the 90s, Primus, to me, and the group of people I used to hang out with, one of which is hopefully listening right now. Hello again, John. We were all huge Primus fans.
Primus released an absolutely awe-inspiring DVD collection called Animals Should Not Try to Act Like People.
Ah.
Now, this is just basically a collection of original music videos and a few of the newer studio recordings at its time of release, which was... Oh, when was it released? It was in 2000s, but I don't know exact date. Fact of the matter is, on this video, there is a roundabout 4.5 minute music video for a track they did called Mr. Crinkle.
Okay.
It is effectively shot in what you would call a oneer.
Ah, okay, yeah.
Now, that doesn't sound that astonishing when you just say, oh, it's a oneer, because, anyone can do that. It's what's going on in the background that is just truly awe-inspiring. While you've got Les Claypool, who's the main creative force behind Primus, he's the bass player and main songwriter, dressed as a pig playing a stand-up bass. Behind him, there are a series of kind of circus performers and like carnies going past, and just all manner of weird and wonderful occurring behind him.
I think I could watch this collection on loop just purely for the fact it astounds me every single time. Not just the video work, but the songwriting as well. My particular favourites, Joe was a race car driver, and Tommy the Cat, with an amazing bit of voice work from Tom Waits as titular Tommy the Cat. I think Jerry was a race car driver further explains my love of Primus, as there's a little sample from Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2 in there, which I adore. The reason I bring them up really is because it's a lot to do with going back and watching these guys that's given me the impetus to pick up a guitar again. It's not that I stopped playing, I just stopped creating.
You just stopped playing it well.
I just stopped playing it well. Yeah, I mean, we'll go with that. Why don't we in a minute discuss, what musical instruments you can play?
Indeed, yes. Bang the shit out of a tambourine, my friend.
You were a bass player at one stage.
A very poor bass player, but yes.
I would advise anyone who has a love of, what's the best word to use here? Slightly dada, percussive bass playing, and just all-out brilliant songwriting. When I say songwriting, I mean more composition. They very much are an astonishing band. You can easily access via YouTube, which I should advise everyone to do so. There's a video called Devil Went Down to Georgia, which most people will know the piece of music, but
of course.
This is their take on it. It's a beautiful, beautiful stop-motion animation of the story of the Devil Went Down to Georgia.
Right.
So if you can't get hold of a copy of Animals Should Not Try to Act Like People, just go on YouTube. You will find them. Also, you might find our YouTube channel as well.
Double whammy.
See what I've done there, Graham? Do you see?
I see.
Do you see?
Right, that's my quick hit, sir. What have you got for me?
Right, my quick hit this week is... Well, it's less of a thing, more of a person. Believe it or not.
Is it me?
It is you. It's Scott. Playing the guitar. Whilst I was on holiday over the Christmas period, as usual, you find yourself at a bit of a loose end and start flicking through the channels. And one day I came across a documentary that I'd never seen before that was, I think, being shown on Sky Atlantic, but it was originally on Sky Arts.
Yeah.
About the movie poster artist Drew Struzan.
Probably someone who pushed me to be a bit of an artist when I was younger, I must say.
There you go. Now, I watched this and it was absolutely fascinating. Now, I've always been a big fan of his work, and one thing that I would say I bemoan about modern life is the fact that coffee tables seem to have been phased out. People like open living spaces.
Minimalism.
And therefore, yeah, when I was young, you went into anybody's lounge and they always had a coffee table. And of course, when they had a coffee table, it normally meant they had coffee table books.
For me, it was if they had a coffee table, they normally had drugs.
No, well, there you go. Okay, we're obviously coming at it from slightly different ends of the spectrum, but there you go. And I have so many what I would describe as coffee table books. I have a bookshelf that is weighed down. The bottom shelf is just entirely coffee table books, whether it's portraits of comedians or books about movies like Ghostbusters or Star Wars or Indiana Jones or the Spider-Man Vault book or Tales from Martha's Vineyard, the story of the making of Jaws. Just these lovely, great big books, and they get hidden away on shelves. And I'd love to, just be able to put them out so anybody who comes around can flick through them. But anyway, one book that I do have, and I've had for a great many years, is called Oeuvre by Drew Struzan, which is a massive, massive, great big book, just highlighting his art, and obviously most famous for his movie posters. And for anybody out there who doesn't know what he's done, if you cast your mind back to Return of the Jedi, that beautiful poster of Darth Vader's head, and then at the bottom Luke and Darth in the lightsaber battle, that was his. He did the movie posters for all three of these Star Wars special editions when they redid them in the late 90s. He did the movie posters for all of the Star Wars prequels. He did the movie posters for all of the Back to the Future movies, The Goonies, Hook, The Thing. I mean, that iconic, what a wonderful poster. Yeah. And the only reason that he did that, and it was on the documentary, because he was talking about that poster, and he was saying the only reason that he did it was that was just supposed to be concept art. Yeah. It wasn't supposed to be the final poster.
This is the light emanating from the Parker.
Precisely, from the Parker.
I did see someone do an amazing fancy dress up a little while ago.
Yes, and I did too. Yeah, very good. And the only reason that he did that was because it was concept art. They said, right, we don't know who's going to be in it, and we don't know what the alien's going to look like, but we know that they're going to be in the Antarctic, so just come up with something. And he came up with that, and it was so amazing that they kept it for the movie poster. And of course, a groundbreaking piece of art. He did the movie poster for First Blood, Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom, The Last Crusade, Muppets Treasure Island and Muppets Christmas Carol. He did the movie poster for Mallrats.
He did.
That great one. He's done...
did he do Howard the Duck?
Police Academy films.
He didn't.
No, he didn't do Howard the Duck. He did the Police Academy films. He did promo art that wasn't used for movie posters, but was used for either international releases or as promotional pieces for Blade Runner, Hellboy, Shawshank Redemption. And as I was watching this film and looking at all his amazing stuff that he did, it kind of struck me. I was desperately trying to think what he's done recently, what he does these days. And apparently he's retired because movie makers now don't want art on their posters. They want pictures. They want highly photoshopped pictures of the stars. And so they've completely gone against this thing. But you look back at his work, it is so beautiful. And one thing they pointed out, and it's definitely true when you look through his book, is that he could make a shit film look really good. From one of his posters, you can look at it and go, oh, do you know what? I really want to see that. But then, in hindsight, knowing what the film was, you realise what a piece of shit the film was. But his poster alone would just raise it because he had this almost photographic style. His art looked almost like photographs. In fact, there's some of his pictures that do look like photographs of people. And he's done so much other promo work. And he has 2 art books out there, both about the £20 mark on Amazon. You've got The Art of Drew Struzan, and you've got the one that I've got, which is Oeuvre. And I would highly recommend anybody to get them because it's such beautiful, and they're huge, great books. And therefore, you open them up, they're almost sort of half poster size kind of thing. And if you want not only a book containing beautiful art, but just a memory of when movie posters had character. Yeah. A movie poster was almost as important to the movie as the stars and the plot and everything else.
I remember going to the video store and kind of, well, not so much fighting, but trying as hard as I possibly could to get my name on the poster so you could have the poster when they were done with it.
Yeah,
and take it
absolutely.
Home. You need to roll it up or put it on your wall, or at some stage, possibly even 60 or 70% of videos in the video store would have his artwork on them.
Yes, absolutely, very much so. I mean, the late 70s and through to well into the 80s, he owned it.
Yeah.
He absolutely owned it. And like I say, his art on your movie poster would lend so much extra to your movie. People would want to see it based on the poster. I mean, okay, we all love Back to the Future, but imagine that without those iconic posters.
No, indeed.
He was so gifted. Just absolutely fantastic. I don't know if that documentary is still available. Like I say, I watched it on Sky Atlantic. It may be available for download. It was called Drew Struzan, the man behind the poster. And that's really good. Or if you want to buy one of his books, or just go online and look at his stuff, because it's groundbreaking, and it breaks my heart that what he did and what he brought to the cinema industry became a dying art. It's so sad.
Yeah, I think every single graphic designer worth their salt should have some of his work, or at least know of him.
And one thing that was amazing was he was such a humble man. For somebody who was so talented and whose work had been out there, he really didn't think he was a big deal. And then it showed him when he went to Comic-Con, and he was saying, I'm not sure people are going to care that I'm here. And then he came out and just saw queues just going round the hall and realised just how important he was to people.
Yeah. I tell you what, I bet he was a lot more welcoming than Brian fucking Bolland.
I'm willing to bet that he was.
I'm never letting that go, you know that, didn't you?
Indeed not.
And if you want to know what I'm talking about, you'll have to go back and listen to earlier episodes.
Well, no, they can't, because that was last February, and therefore we weren't recording.
Oh, damn!
So we shall have to touch on that in a future episode.
We will.
Yes, indeed.
Indeed.
Right, now we're going to move on to a brand new segment of our show, which is Miscellaneous Debris. Now, we wanted to do this because before we've obviously always done main topics, and yet certainly one thing the two of us picked up when we were having our telephone conversations about all the things we would normally talk about on the podcast over the last 12 months, we realised that we very rarely stick to one topic. We will jump all over the place. And so we kind of felt that from now on, rather than have a main topic where we talk about one thing, we'll just have a bit of a free-form conversation like we would normally do, which I think for us will be a lot more natural. So we could end up just talking about one thing, or could end up talking about 20 things.
I mean, it could end up with just me heavy breathing at you, if I'm honest.
Well, obviously there is that hope from my side, but we shall see. Indeed. So the first thing I want to do, obviously a bit of housekeeping. I had to record the little voiceover in the last episode of our 2016 review because we missed some people. We recorded on the 21st of December thinking that will be it for the year. And of course the year had some more surprises up its sleeve.
Albeit really shit ones.
I know, precisely. Of course, the first one of which was Rick Parfitt from Status Quo, which was a great shame because I'd heard two of the podcasts that I listened to had recently done interviews with Francis Rossi. And he was talking about how ill Rick was and the fact that he'd had to get another guitarist in for his new album and his new tour and that sort of thing. But you never think that people like that are going to be that close, and to hear he went was very, very sad.
Yeah, it was heartbreaking. I know a lot of people make light of Status Quo and the kind of the 3-chord trick and all that, but
and the double denim.
Well, man, you've got to love the double denim. They're the only people who can pull it off. In all honesty, without Status Quo, I don't think there'd be, certain branches of music and certain.
Well, this is it.
It's they were they still are an astonishing band. But yeah, Rick Parfitt, a really, really great guitarist. So, anyone who thinks that he only knew those 3 chords, go back and listen a bit more.
Very much so. Then same day, obviously Liz Smith, Nana from the Royal Family, who I didn't realise, it was only when they're doing the tributes, I didn't realise how late she'd come to acting, which was a real surprise. I think, wasn't it a Mike Leigh film or something? She
is it Life is Sweet? I think possibly.
I can't remember, but maybe even one before that.
Yeah.
But yeah, certainly, hadn't been acting from a young age and came to it very late. And even though she was old, obviously, when you're that familiar with a person, and I think you summed it up when we were talking about all the people that died last year, when you said, yes, these are just actors, musicians, whatever, but you feel that you know them. They've spent so much time in our company, whether it's on screen or playing the music that we stick in our ears, that you do become familiar with these people. Even though you don't know them intimately, you never really know what they're like behind the scenes, but we share this familiarity.
Yeah, they shape a landscape that you grow up in, and that they help you form opinions. Certain performances by certain people will make you think certain things, and it's always sad when someone who, for want of better words, you've enjoyed, shuffles off.
No.
They are almost like extended family members. More so than actually some of my real family members.
And then we woke up on Boxing Day, and Nikki, as she usually does, went on her iPad and suddenly went, "Oh, God." And I said, "What's the matter?" And she said, "Madonna's just tweeted to say, 'So sad to lose one of my best friends,' or something." And we go, "Oh, God, somebody else has gone." And then, of course, it turned out to be George Michael.
Yeah.
Which was heartbreaking. And, of course, you know, regardless of all the hoopla that surrounded what's happened since in terms of any suspicious behaviour surrounding his death, just to lose somebody like that. And I think the saddest thing is, over recent years, he has become a bit of a joke. You know, his falling out of a car on the M1 and his crashing into a Snappy Snaps and getting caught in a public toilet has kind of overshadowed what is, for somebody who's still a relatively young man, such an amazing career. And, you know, when he was singing Wham Rap and Bad Boys and, Young Guns, who knew that he had such an amazingly soulful voice that only really came out in his later songs. So
I mean, it almost to me was almost a little bit of a stab in the heart to hear Robbie Williams on New Year's Eve performing a George Michael song, which I'm pretty sure that he did release as a single, Faith.
Right, Freedom. He did.
Freedom. Sorry, you're right. Yes, sorry. No one performs it like George Michael.
No, absolutely.
I mean, I'm not going to sit here and say that I was, you know, a massive George Michael or Wham fan, but
I wouldn't expect
there's
you
no denying
to,
that, you know, the guy had absolutely bucket loads of talent. You know,
immense
really,
talent.
really great voice.
Absolutely. It's great that we're left with the music that he did. Obviously, you know, the first two albums, Faith and Listen Without Prejudice Volume 1. I mean, his second album, to me, I can still listen to it, and it's still fantastic, just laden with brilliant songs. But it's a shame that he probably never fully went on to realise his potential, because he got involved with drugs, and unfortunately it fucked him up, you know?
Yeah, I mean, the other thing as well that was a bit of a down note for him was the fact that he had all the problems with his record label and such.
Yes,
you know, much like Prince
indeed.
did. In fact, I think it was Sony as well, wasn't it?
Yes, it was. It was Sony, yep.
Whether or not we'll have to beep out the fact that we've just said Sony, I don't know, but I couldn't give a fuck. Couldn't give a fuck.
Maybe so. And then the day later, obviously, we knew that Carrie Fisher had a heart attack, and I can remember hearing that, because, of course, she was before any of these deaths, having a heart attack on the plane from London to LA.
Yeah.
And I can remember thinking, oh, God, thank God she didn't die. But then, of course, on the 27th, she did. And that one, as much as any of the others, really affected me. I mean, you know, we grew up with Princess Leia. For many of us, she was our first crush.
Very much so.
You know,
she definitely was mine. Definitely was mine.
And
I've lost count of the amount of girls that I've said to over the years, you could do like the Princess Leia hair thing, couldn't you? You could do that, couldn't you? Because you've got long hair, you could do that. And as yet, no bites.
I think in her later life, she started to come to terms much more with her responsibility, if you want to call it that, of being Princess Leia. For a great many years, she didn't understand it, because it was such a small part of her life. It was sort of 6 years of her life those 3 films came out over.
Yeah.
And yet she was far more than that. You know, she was such a talented writer, and I think she was always so intelligent. You know, she was always as sharp as a knife, you know, in everything she said. She was very cynical, which in the modern era is so refreshing.
Yeah.
And I think she's such an amazing loss, you know, not only because of what she meant to our generation, but just in who she was and what she brought to the table. She was so refreshing in this horribly bleached and sort of saccharine entertainment industry we have now. She was a voice of truth and reason, and I think that will be very sadly missed.
Definitely advise anyone who hasn't seen it to go out and source a copy of Postcards from the Edge.
Absolutely, yeah.
Because it is a wonderful film, and it is her story, and it's a wonderful story.
And then a day later, obviously, her mum died, Debbie Reynolds. And as I said in my little voiceover on the last episode, they say it was a stroke, but that's a broken heart, isn't it? Because
definitely.
I don't know if you've seen the documentary Bright Lights.
I haven't, no.
That was co-directed by Fisher Stevens, you know, the actor Fisher Stevens.
I do. I loved his work in Short Circuit too.
Indeed, yeah, that's right.
And Hackers, I believe. Is it Hackers?
Controversial. But yeah, they made a documentary, I think either last year or the year before, about Carrie Fisher and Debbie Reynolds and their relationship. And it was such a warm, loving relationship. I mean, despite Carrie Fisher still maintaining that she had such a fucked up childhood that it just messed her up for life.
Yeah.
The warmth and the affection and the fact that they both lived together on the same compound. They had 2 houses on the same compound, and it showed Carrie Fisher making her mum a souffle and taking it round, and they would take the piss out of each other, but it was always out of love. And Carrie Fisher even said at one point, she's my mother, but she's also my best friend. And I think, you know, you can see why Debbie Reynolds went a day later, because it would have destroyed her. And it had Todd Fisher was obviously in it a lot as well, but these two shared such a bond, and to watch that after both of them had died was absolutely heartbreaking. I mean, it's probably still on demand on Sky. They showed it on Sky Atlantic on the 10th of January, so just do a search on demand for Bright Lights. It's an hour and a half, and it's such a wonderful documentary. Makes the fact that they're both recently passed all the more heartbreaking.
Indeed it does. Indeed it does.
So that's that. What else have you got?
What else have I got? Well,
Yes.
sir, got a bit of an apology to make. I don't know if you recall, on our previous recordings, I was wholeheartedly kind of pleading to the world to bring the love, as it were.
Yes.
I must admit I faltered. I slipped a little. I may or may not have accidentally set up a Twitter account with the sole purpose of trolling Donald Trump. And I must admit, it was the best 12 days of my life.
Why is it? You didn't get blocked, did you?
Oh, I got barred by it. I got barred, I can only assume, by every single member of the Trump family.
Brilliant.
I can only
Well
assume.
done, sir.
I can only assume that because I trolled all of them.
Tell us more.
See, now this is where the apology comes in. I did plead to everyone to bring the love and to stop being dicks online and to stop saying nasty things. But I could not help myself when I saw Donald Trump's Happy New Year message. So I sent him one back on my newly set up Twitter account just to troll the Trumps, which incidentally was called Monkey Farm Zero.
Hey.
Yeah, so I kind of said to Donald Trump, Happy New Year. Here's hoping you are the first celebrity death of 2017.
Ooh.
Yeah. I mean, that one went kind of unnoticed, but I think the fact that I went for 12 days straight, basically just being a bit of a shit, saying such things as when it was his son's birthday, I basically said, no, I hope you have a shit birthday, you entitled little fuckwit. Also, for 12 days straight, I at least twice a day reported every member of the Trump family for hate speech, which I'm thinking is what might have finally got me barred. Barred to such an extent that normally when you get barred from Twitter, it will say to you, okay, you just need to click this button on the email and we'll be able to address it, but the email just won't even come through. So they've completely slain the account, so I can't even get access to it anymore, unfortunately. But I tell you what, it was a great 12 days. Apology at the beginning is just because I did state that we should be bringing the love in 2017 and try not to troll too much on the internet. Try not to bring too much hate of any type, unless, of course, it's directed at Donald Trump.
No, I mean, when it comes to people trolling Donald Trump,
Yeah.
I think never has the phrase, let he who is without sin cast the first stone.
Indeed.
Because he is the ultimate troll. He is the ultimate hate-filled, bigoted apology for a human being. So I frankly think that any shit that he gets online is thoroughly deserved. So well played, sir. Very good.
He's an awful,
Yes.
awful little man.
Who's about to become the most powerful man in the world.
Yeah, that's fucking scary shit. And we don't even live in the country, but it's scary shit. Let's bring this up a bit, shall we? Let's have a little chat about what's happening in 2017.
Well, there's some good stuff coming out. Obviously, we've had a lot of good trailers came out last year. Do you want to sort of go through some of those? And
Why don't
see
we? I think that'd be a lovely thing to do.
I have to say, there's been some really good ones.
They have.
But my favourite trailer of all those I saw last year for films that are coming out this year was Logan.
Yeah, do you know what? I wholeheartedly agree with you on that, mate. It's a kick-ass trailer.
Absolutely, isn't it just
an amazingly brilliant use of music as well.
Hurt by Johnny Cash.
It just fits the character perfectly, doesn't it?
It is the anti-superhero movie, isn't it? Loosely based on the Old Man Logan storyline from the comics, which is sort of him being this grizzled, old, doesn't want anything to do with the whole superhero thing anymore. And of course, clearly the young girl in it is X-23. I mean, we don't know if that's a clone daughter as she is in the comics or a normally conceived daughter. But no, the whole thing just looks so world-weary and worn and,
it looks like
just loved it. The whole look of it looked fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, it looks to me like it's going to be a massive departure from what we've seen in the kind of for want of a better words, the X-verse. Given the fact that of our discussion we had on a previous episode regarding X-Men Apocalypse, I think it's well needed. I think we need this film. And I do hope it's his
absolutely.
last one. I do hope it's Hugh Jackman's last one. I hope it's his...
I think it will be.
I hope he goes out
on
and I really...
The guy's getting on, and I just think, just the perfect time for this sort of a story.
Yeah, as I say, it does just look like a stunning little piece of cinema. So fingers crossed.
Yep.
Big fingers crossed for that one.
Next one was Spider-Man: Homecoming.
Yeah, which we haven't actually had a chance to discuss at all yet.
We have not discussed. No.
This
We've
is
almost
exciting.
stayed away from it. Yeah.
Very exciting. Yeah. So, my friend, what do you think?
I thought it looked fantastic.
Good.
I'm so looking forward to this. Obviously, knowing what a big fan I was of the Tobey Maguire, Sam Raimi trilogy, the Mark Webb, Andrew Garfield one was such a letdown for me in so many ways. It's just nice that they're getting back to basics and having him back as being a teenage kid. And I mean, probably my favourite scene, and this is odd when you're talking about a superhero movie, where you've got, the Vulture, and, I love the guys at the beginning, pulling the
masks.
Robbery with the Avengers mask. That was great. But probably my favourite scene, because it sums up Peter's school life in the very early Amazing Spider-Man issues, was when him and his mate are sitting there talking about Liz Allen and saying... Oh, is Liz wearing a new top? Oh no, she's wearing the same old one, but she's never worn it with those trousers before.
So, we better stop looking now before this starts looking creepy.
And that girl just goes, "You two are such losers." Yeah. I mean, that was brilliant. That was so good. I really enjoyed it. Yeah,
it does look pretty phenomenal. I think one of the things that's got me most excited about the movie itself is Michael Keaton coming in as Vulture. I would never have really picked him as Vulture. I think because I've always had it in my mind that Malkovich, to me, would have been a good Adrian Toomes, a good Vulture.
Yeah.
But yeah, it works, doesn't it? I can see now why they've made that choice. And I love the look of him. We've not seen much of him, but I love the very, very cool fur collar thing he's got going on, and the visor mask looks cool. So yeah, very, very high hopes for that.
Very much so.
How do you think that's going to run with no Mary Jane?
Doesn't bother me because again, Mary Jane didn't appear in the comics till Pete was in college. Mary Jane first appeared. I mean, she was touted beforehand, but her first appearance was Amazing Spider-Man issue 42, I think. And so up to that point, we'd had Liz Allen, we'd had Gwen Stacy. So no, keeping much truer to the comics. I'm all for that, definitely.
Good. Well, I'm glad you like the look of that, sir.
Well, I'm glad you're glad.
That excites me because you are. To me, you are all things Spider-Man. If there's ever anything Spider-Man, I come to you.
Good. Next up, I had Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2.
Never heard of it. Never heard of it. It's a sequel? Is it sequel to?
Apparently, yes.
Okay. Of course, I've heard of it. It looks absolutely amazing.
Doesn't it
looks
great?
Really. I can't think off the top of my head what the piece of music is they've used this time, but obviously it fits beautifully no matter what it is.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that looks like a whole heap of fun. Now, have you seen the trailer where he's talking to Baby Groot about the button?
About the button. Yes,
so brilliantly played.
Now that is something that I love because I assumed that after what happened to Groot at the end of the last one and then sort of growing him again, I assumed that by this film he would be back to full size. But to have Baby Groot, was absolutely superb.
And at one point, Baby Groot kicking ass as well.
Yes, indeed.
Looks very, very cool. I mean, what can you say about that first movie? It is a bottled lightning moment, isn't it? It's just a great, fun movie. I can't see this being any less great, to be honest.
No, they've almost saying in this one, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. It very much does seem to be more of the same. Yeah. And I'm all for that.
There is a lovely exchange as well towards the end of the trailer between Dave Bautista's character, whose name escapes me for some reason. I can't think of his character's name.
Drax,
and Peter Quill when they have that little exchange. Oh, you like her? And all that.
With Mantis. Who's obviously a new character come in who's known from the comics. So
all brilliant stuff.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, thus far, 2017. I know we've only done a couple so far, but looking pretty good.
It is looking good, isn't it?
Pretty good.
Next trailers, which obviously, I mean, one of them's been around a while, but we haven't discussed them, is Wonder Woman.
Yeah, the trailer looks fun. I like the kind of little bits between Chris Pine's secretary.
Yes, Lucy Davis.
Yes, of course, Louise Davis and Gal Gadot as the kind of what you do this for him.
Yes.
I like all that. I think that's very clever.
Where I come from, we call that a slave.
Yeah, that's brilliantly done. But I think much like, and I hope no one's listening to this thinking, my God, he's a misogynist. But I think much like the Agent Carter thing, I'm just not that interested in the character.
Right. Okay.
I wasn't that interested in her in Dawn of Justice either.
She
plays the character well. Don't get me wrong.
She does. I mean, I've bought Wonder Woman comics in the past, and I'm not currently buying it now. And like yourself, I've never been a massive fan, but I think she was really good. She was one of the best things in Batman vs Superman. And
as long as they bring back her little score, her little sting, then I'll be happy.
And but both trailers I've seen seem to be full of action, but have enough levity in them as well. You know, the laughs are there as well, which I think is what DC have been missing. So hopefully they've learned from their mistakes, and you know that's probably the entire reason for Lucy Davis's character is, you know, to have that sort of comic element to it, which I think is great. And you know, certainly just the set pieces that we've seen so far look absolutely fantastic. So no, I'm looking forward to that one. I think that'll be really good.
Nice.
Next one we had was also coming out of the San Diego Comic-Con was the Justice League trailer.
Yeah, I had a feeling this was going to be next.
Yes.
I couldn't give a shit.
Really? Not really. Not impressed.
Not impressed at all. I mean, now this is the trailer that's got Icky Thump, isn't it, by White Stripes, that track playing, which the music fits really well with the trailer, but there's too many parts in the trailer that to me just go, oh God, I'm not going to enjoy that. Oh God, I'm really not going to enjoy that. Also, as well, I know that it's the real character's name, and I know Aquaman is Arthur Curry, but I can't not laugh at the name Arthur Curry for some reason. It just sounds like a Monty Python character.
Also, what I think's odd is Aquaman in the comics is a blonde Caucasian man that could easily be called Arthur Curry.
Yeah,
with
very
the greatest
blonde,
respect,
in fact.
Jason Momoa does not look like a man who would ever be called Arthur Curry.
No. Or ever be blonde. There's a moment in the trailer where he's kind of walking down a pier, I suppose, what you would call it. And the waves are crashing against him, and he looks like he's swigging out of a JD bottle.
Right.
And it's kind of, I'm just like, what is this, an advert for booze, or is this? I just didn't get it.
So I mean, what I did like was when Ben Affleck is talking to Gal Gadot about Aquaman, and she says, "So is he in?" And he says, "Well, more or less." Yeah. And she says, "Well, is that more or more or less?" Yeah. And he goes, "More or less." And she says, "So he said no then?" Yeah, he said no.
It's undeniable. Those two have got absolutely excellent chemistry between them.
Absolutely. That looks really good. But of course, one thing famously missing was obviously Superman.
Yes.
Who is showing on the cast list.
Oh, he's definitely in it. He is in it.
So therefore, clearly they're keeping their powder very dry on that one. Obviously, being that he died at the end of Batman vs Superman.
Spoilers.
Died in huge inverted commas. Yeah. So yeah, you know, it'll be interesting to see how they bring him in
and how they fuck it up further.
They've talked about I can't remember the name of the villain that they've said. Was it Steppenwolf or something like that?
Which is who's supposed to be
Z-list DC villain. But again, we've seen in Batman vs Superman, we saw parademons. Yeah. And then we've seen parademons in this trailer as well, which would obviously suggest it's going to be Darkseid rather than Steppenwolf. And are they just hiding the fact that that's who the villain is really going to be, which would be fantastic.
Justice League? Yeah, no doubt I'll go and see it because I'm a good boy and I don't stream things online. I don't know why you find that so funny, sir. I'm a law-abiding citizen. I genuinely don't know why you find that funny. I'm always at cinema, me.
Right, and the last one, moving swiftly on from that, the last one that I had on the list was T2, Trainspotting 2.
Yeah, no, I'm glad you've put this one in because I watched the trailer for this the day it came out. In fact, the hour it came out. When I was a huge fan of the original, as you know, thousands upon millions of other people probably were as well. This was a big film to me when it came out because I remember loving the book and I actually remember it as being one of the first books I kind of loved as an adult. I would have been probably around 20 when the movie and the book came out. And I watched the trailer and I was like, oh God, no. And then there's just one little bit towards the end of the trailer where Ewan McGregor as Renton does that kind of lean across the bonnet of the car as he does in the first movie, and I thought, oh, I see. Yeah, I think it's going to be great. I really do.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things. I can remember when you first mentioned it, and I was a bit like, "Oh God, why do they need to do that?" And I'm kind of not that far from that opinion right now.
No, definitely not.
I'm not sure how necessary it is and how well it's going to play, being that everybody's 20 years older, and suddenly, do you want to be seeing those same stories with a bunch of 40-somethings who, frankly, should be known better?
Yeah.
But I'm kind of prepared to go into it with an open mind and sort of see what it brings.
But there's a lovely bit at the top of the trailer as well with Johnny Lee Miller. And he just says, "Hello, Mark. What have you been up to for 20 years?"
For 20 years, yes.
Brilliant. And there's another really, it's a kind of a blink and you miss it moment, but I'm pretty sure that the film itself is based on a book called Porno.
Yes.
Which upsets me a little bit that they didn't have the bollocks to call the film Porno, because it is all the same characters. It's not like you can't use that word. It's I understand why they've done it. It's because you can't have that word on big hoardings on cinemas, I imagine. But
no, sure.
There's a moment in the trailer where you just see like a top-down shot of what appears to be Spud, and on the floor there's just hundreds of postcards all splayed out on the floor, and I think they're supposed to represent the 20 years worth of postcards that Renton has been sending him.
Oh, okay, right.
And I mean, you could, obviously from the original film that those two have got a really close relationship.
Yes,
they're extraordinarily close. That's the most exciting thing for me, to see Renton and Spud together again. I don't get me wrong, I like the dynamic between Begbie and Sick Boy as well, but I think when those two were on screen together, there's just something almost quite romantic about the two of them.
Absolutely.
There's definitely a bromance, a love there. Yeah, I've got high hopes. I've got very, very high hopes for it. I imagine no matter what, it'll have an amazing soundtrack like the first one.
Right, well that's me done, sir. Have you got anything else for this week?
I have got one more little thing. It's only a very silly thing.
Go on then.
And it kind of ties into what I said at the top of this about the internet and about, let's try and put some more love on the internet. Let's have some fun on the internet. Someone I know pointed out to me a lovely little story, and this is actually a friend of hers who has done this. On IMDb, as everyone will know IMDb, there is a little functionality which you can go on the message boards, and you can put up a thing saying, I saw this film 20 years ago, da-da-da-da-da-da. Can you help me find it? I don't know what it's called.
Yeah.
So there's a guy with a username, Sinbad _LWL.
Yeah.
And he's put one of these, which film is this up? And I'm going to read it. I'll try and do it as quick as I can for you, but I'm going to read it. It says, "Hi, I am sorry for my bad English. It is not my first language. I am from Kiribati, and I like watching films, but we don't get very many here. I saw a film on TV many years ago, but I don't know the name. I think it was maybe from 1990 or a time close to that. It was in colour and did not look very old, I think. All I remember is that a man went on holiday to an island. He had children, but they were not his children, I don't think. There was a storm and everything went wrong. Does anyone know the film? I really want to find it."
It's Jurassic Park, isn't it?
It is Jurassic Park. Very well done. And that's exactly, my friend, what the very first reply is. Jurassic Park. To which Sinbad _LWL comes back with, I had a look at Jurassic Park, but I don't think it is the right film. The poster does not look like the one I have seen here or in the video shops. There was a man had dark clothes and had spectacles. There was a long scene in the car in the rain, and the children got scared because it was raining. I think there was a scene with them in the toilet, but that might have been another film. Does anyone know? Of course, the guy has come back with, there was a scene with the children in the rain in a car getting scared in Jurassic Park 2, And there was also a scene with a man on the toilet. He then got eaten by a Tyrannosaurus Rex while sitting on the toilet. I'm sure you would have remembered if there were dinosaurs in the movie, though, if it was Jurassic Park. Sinbad LWL comes back again. No, I don't think it was Jurassic Park. There were not any dinosaurs in the film I saw. They do not allow scary films in Kiribati because the government does not like them. But they would not allow a film with dinosaurs, I don't think. This film...
He saw Jurassic Park with the dinosaurs cut out.
Film, the man with glasses went to the island and met some other people. It was a jungle island. Then a big storm came and everything started going badly wrong. And the children all got scared. I remember there was a man with a white beard. I don't remember him much. I so really want to see it again. But of course someone's come back with, Sinbad, are you screwing with us? Because everything you've described is Jurassic Park, yeah? Someone else is, yeah, I think so too. He's just describing Jurassic Park, but in smaller detail each time. This guy's come back again. No, I am not screwing with you. That makes me sad that you write that. I am sorry you are angry. I'm just trying to find the film I saw. It goes on for seemingly forever. So I'm going to skip right to the very bottom because this is the crux of it. So one guy basically has enough of it and says, "Listen, what goes wrong on the island exactly?" And Sinbad says, "Thank you, I'd be very happy to see the film again. I don't remember the beginning of that, but the man with black clothes went to the jungle island and met the other people. The others were men and women, and there were children. There was a big storm and everyone got scared. Maybe a man on the toilet, but I don't know. There were lots of scenes in a car. There was a man with white hair and a beard, and he looked like the KFC man. There was a bit where the kids used computers to open doors, I think. Oh, and one more thing. There were these really big lizards on the island." I think you can probably guess what the final thing on here was. It's just the very first guy who answered has just put, "I hate you, Sinbad." I just wanted to share that with you because I thought it was fucking marvellous. And I want to see lots more people doing shit like that on the internet in 2017.
And that, sir, is my final thought of the day.
Do you like that?
That was amazing. That was absolutely amazing.
I'm glad you like that. Do you know what?
Oh,
I've been holding out to telling you that for about a week now.
Dear.
It's so beautiful,
that is
isn't
awesome.
it? It is so beautiful.
Well, all I can say is, mate, we are back with a vengeance with that one.
Indeed we are.
Absolutely amazing. Well, if 27 carries on anything like as good as that, we got some good things to be looking forward to. Well, thank you for that.
You're welcome.
Right. Well, I don't think we can follow that.
I don't think I'd dare to.
So, for Geek-Minded Fools, I've been Graham.
And I've been Scott.
Thanks so much for listening, and we'll see you next time.